In this newsletter, I set out to look for the answer to what is the best way to research any topic. It was a little vague, which made it harder to research for a specific answer, but that was the exact problem I was trying to solve. The closest experience I've had about researching was everything I've learned about training and nutrition. I've managed to go from 130 pounds of no muscle to 165 pounds of lean muscle, and I learned how to do it more from passively consuming content than actively researching. I was subscribed to Jeff Nippard, Omar Isuf, Eric Helms, and others, and I was consuming almost everything they posted. Obviously, I was inclined to click on the things that most interested me, or that at least were more relevant to my specific fitness goals that I had at the time, but still it was more about consuming whenever they posted than researching whenever I needed. I immediately see a problem in that question, the word expedite, because I ask myself, what evidence or proof do I have that things can be done faster or that I can be learning faster? And probably it's my fault consuming social media and seeing people showing they are rich at a probably younger age than mine, which obviously that proof or evidence is stupid because I don't know the validity of it nor the context of it. So by pulling the thread a little bit, I wrote a statement for myself that I believe to be true, or to put in more perspective what I'm feeling at that moment consuming that social media or trying to research in a faster way. I tend to look outwards for ready-to-go solutions when in reality I can only gather outside information and experiences from others that will never fully apply to my current context. It can be close, but never to 100%. So the last step in any research I do is to combine the new information with my past experiences and actions to come up with an action plan that hopefully helps me solve the problem at hand without a 100% guarantee. It's like I want a blueprint that guarantees progress and success, so that way I don't spend time and effort doing something that won't get me what I want, and such thing doesn't exist. I have to create it myself, for myself. But still, some research is needed, so I asked myself, how should I go about it? Let's dissect how I research my way into my dream body by learning how to train and how to eat. I feel that I succeeded in that research process because I've managed to gain 35 pounds of lean muscle, bench 270, squat 335, and deadlift 295. I know my deadlift is weaker. I never liked it. I'll leave it up to you if that is a success. For me it is, especially because fitness wasn't my only concern at the time. I was pursuing a 5-year degree in civil engineering and also trying whatever project I had in mind at the time. Dropshipping, online fitness coaching, and managing ads for businesses. So I feel confident saying that I succeeded in researching about training and nutrition. What made it easier for me to not only enjoy researching, but also knowing exactly where to go to search for answers, was that I had a clear objective in mind: growing muscle. That made me go through a YouTube rabbit hole that started with the search of how to grow muscle. One video took me to another and time went by. By the end of it, I have a bunch of random information going through my head, but also something to apply immediately. The bro split, which is one major muscle group per day. Spoiler alert, don't train that way. Taking action was very important because it led me to more very specific questions. How many sets? How much weight? How many reps, and so on, which led me to more searches and more YouTube rabbit holes. With time and action, those random pieces of information started to connect and form a whole, which allowed me to be more meaningful in my search for more knowledge, and here is where I started to feel like a pro. I started reading textbooks, which is funny because I hated reading at the time, also articles, studies, everything. I got obsessed. Ultimately, that obsession and constant iterating of learning something new, applying it, discovering new problems, making new searches, and so on, kept pushing me towards a vast knowledge of training and nutrition. Was I a master researcher? I don't think so, but I did have a vast knowledge of who were the experts in the field, and almost always knew where to go if I had a new question. This leads me to how I plan on researching from now on for my newsletter. My whole goal with this week's newsletter was to learn how to get profound information about any topic, to then filter it through my experience and perspectives to come up with a unique, actionable plan that I could apply to my current pursuits. To research and gather information, not necessarily a lot, and take a significant step in the right direction will be considered a victory. I think the purpose of actively researching is not necessarily to use quotes, articles, or concepts of other people. It's just to spark ideas in my head by combining the new information with my past experiences. The idea with all of this writing is to have a unique voice, and there's nothing more unique than the experiences that I've had. No one lived my life. Therefore, the way that I will be doing my research from now on is by emulating the way I did it with training and nutrition. Let's run it through in a simplified way. The goal is to have a clear picture of the space I'm in: business, video editing, storytelling, and who are the experts in those fields. That way it'll be easier for me when a specific problem arises, because I'll know where to start my search. And that clear picture of the space doesn't happen overnight, so this is how I will do it. Number 1, have a very clear objective, in my case, writing and building a video editing agency. Number 2, whenever a very specific problem arises, research for a possible solution. Number 3, immediate action taken and experimenting. Number 4, subscribe to the people who appear constantly to have a constant flow of content suggestions related to my space. That's it. I'm not extremely happy with this conclusion. I was expecting something more specific and actionable, as I always want, but I do believe that it got me to a better understanding of what it means to consume with intention, which is something that, for example, Dan Koe pushes constantly and that I really believe in. I really want to put that in practice. I don't want to live in theory, almost always in practice. There's time and place for theory, but I want to be obsessed with just putting things into actions and see the results of it. As Alex Hormozi says, if the actions don't change, then you learn nothing. So I don't just want to gather information to don't change my actions. It's the only goal, to change my actions, but obviously with the North Star of pursuing something great and meaningful to me. I had lost some interest in consuming business content online for a while, but hopefully this brings me back to YouTube rabbit holes, which I always loved. Nothing beats the feeling of watching videos for hours, knowing that I just learned a lot of crucial information for my projects. Hopefully these findings and reflections that I found for myself are of use to you. My goal is not to preach on what you should do, but instead find solutions for myself, lead by example, and leave it up to you to find useful conclusions that hopefully will help you on your pursuits. So to keep following this journey, you can subscribe here on YouTube to watch the long form videos, my newsletter for the written version, and then X, TikTok, and Instagram for short form content and updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.